Hey folks, welcome back to another video, this time about a significant update that we have made to the Lean UX canvas. Now, the Lean UX canvas has been out for 8, 9, 10 years at this point. The last time it was updated to version 2 was 5 years ago. And the interesting thing about the Lean UX canvas is that it came out of the Lean UX book. And in fact, the most recent edition of the Lean UX book, the third edition, is modeled completely around that canvas. Now, over the years, Seiden and I have been promoting the Lean UX book and the work within there through a variety of keynotes and workshops and trainings, etc. But the feedback has always been, as the work has evolved, that this is not strictly UX work. This is a lot more. This is product management work. This is software development work. This is a product process. And we were reluctant for a long time to let go of the Lean UX name because that's kind of where all of this stuff came from, was the Lean UX book. But recently, after partnering with some trainers around the world to deliver our workshops, it became obvious that calling this Lean UX moving forward was actually limiting the audience for this and limiting the success for a tool that has proven year over year to be a great way for teams to build a cross-functional, shared understanding of the problem that they're solving, the customer that they're serving, the potential solutions that they'd like to build for that customer, and how to validate all of those assumptions. So Josh and I went back to the drawing board and said, how might we update the Lean UX canvas to meet these modern demands? And what's interesting is we actually ended up with two canvases. You try to stay lean on this stuff, but as you kind of continue to do work, especially a lot of the OKR work that we've been doing recently on the back of our new book, Who Does What by How Much, it became clear that there was a need to have two conversations here, and to extract the strategy component into a separate canvas, talk about that, and then use that as a lead-in to the updated version of the Lean UX canvas, now called the Lean Product Canvas. So I want to do a quick walkthrough of each of these canvases, and then hopefully it'll give you a sense of how to use them. And if you've got any questions, obviously get in touch or put those your questions in the comments, and I'll be happy to get into it. So let's take a look at it. So we're going to start with the Lean Strategy Canvas. So this is a brand new tool. This did not exist before. So if you're looking for kind of the evolution of the Lean UX Canvas, this came out of the conversation about how to update it. Now, what we're trying to do here is to get the entire team, product, design, engineering, to sit down together and to talk about the strategic direction that the product should take. And then to get into success metrics, specifically using objectives and key results. And so we've broken it up into 4 steps. And those 4 steps are: what is the goal that we as a company or as a department or as an initiative are trying to get the product to do over the coming 6, 12, 18 months or so? What is the obstacle? What are the obstacles that are getting in the way of us doing that? Those are the first 2 steps. And then in box 3, we're using Roger Martin's simplified questions for strategy, asking where will you play, what's the market that you're going to play in, and how will you win? What is your unique competitive advantage, or what will you do differently than anyone else to meet the needs of that target market, to overcome that obstacle, achieve your goal, and serve your customers? And then finally, how will you measure success? How will you know that you have won? Really, we answer that question with objectives and key results, right? The objective is the qualitative goal we're trying to achieve, and the key results are the behavior changes that we're looking for to tell us that we have actually achieved that behavior change, our strategy, and are trending towards our goal. Let's try to walk through an example here for a second, right? So I'm going to grab a Post-it note. We're going to talk about what's our goal. Let's assume that we are an online retailer of furniture, right? And our goal is that we've seen that more of our users access our site via mobile devices, and our purchase process needs to accommodate these users. That's our goal, right? Our goal is to become mobile friendly. Honestly, that's kind of it, right? So because we're leaving a lot of money on the table. Cool. What's getting in the way of that? What are some obstacles? Well, it could be things like our current website isn't optimized for mobile. That's certainly one element that we could see as an obstacle. Another challenge we could potentially see is that furniture requires big, beautiful photos to really sell it. Mobile doesn't really allow that. I mean, we have big cell phone screens, mobile phone screens, but that's maybe that's not big enough. And then I think maybe there's another obstacle here that we could potentially come up with, is that the majority of our users are older and less tech savvy. These are customers, really. The majority of our customers, to be fair, are older and less tech savvy, and mobile apps may not work well for them, right? So this is something that some obstacles to achieving that particular goal. So then we move into strategy. So strategically, what are we trying to achieve with this new direction? Well, where will you play is the market. It could be the industry, it could be the demographic, it could be a geographic region, it could be anything, right? And so where will we play strategically first, right? This is an interesting conversation, because strategy tells you, as much as it tells you what to do, it also tells you what not to do, right? So strategically, we might say, look, where will we play? We're going to play with tech-savvy, young families who are moving into their first home, right? This is where we will play. This is kind of our target audience first. If we figure if we get this right, we can scale up to our existing customers. Maybe we can build a new customer base. Great. How will we win? We're going to win by allowing mobile devices features to make it much easier to imagine the furniture in your home and compare, while offering the best prices, something along those lines, right? That's how we're going to win. We're going to make it really easy for folks to use the mobile device to its fullest extent, to really get a sense of how this is going to work. And we're going to make sure that this is actually an affordable set of products. Terrific, right? Good strategy, bad strategy, who knows? But it's a strategy, which is something. Then we're going to say, great, how do we know that we are winning, right? Where will you play? How will you win? What's our objective, right? We want to make it, objectives should be qualitative, right? Aspirational, inspiration. We want to make it dead simple for young families buying their first home to visualize their living space, something along those lines, right? That's what we want to do. Ideally, we want to make it super easy for folks to get a sense of what this house is actually going to look like. And the key results, what are the behavior changes that tell us we're doing that, right? So we've got, it's a new customer, I guess. New customers downloading the mobile app 15% more than they're currently doing today. Maybe we've got new customers scanning and adding furniture images into the app 25%, at least during 25% of visits, something along those lines, right? We're looking for success criteria that tells us that we're actually making it easy for folks to visualize their living space. And we hope that by doing so, right, so that's our objective and our key results, we hope that by doing so, we're achieving our strategy, which is helping us achieve our overall goal. And by extracting this conversation into its own canvas and facilitating it with this tool, the team now has a shared understanding of what we're trying to achieve, what we're trying to overcome, strategically what we care about, and how do we measure success. which then makes it really, really easy to start to complete the lean product canvas. Now, the interesting thing about the lean product canvas is that it is a very lightly updated version of the Lean UX canvas. So I'm not going to do a full walkthrough of this because there's another video on my channel about how to use the Lean UX canvas. Primarily what we've updated here is the name. So it's no longer the Lean UX canvas, it's the Lean product canvas. And we've updated the prompts to take advantage of the outputs of the Lean strategy canvas. So we're going to talk about the business problem that we're addressing. We started to cover that a bit in the strategy canvas. We're going to talk about the business outcomes. Those could directly be the key results that we put in the strategy canvas, or those could be leading indicators of those key results. We're going to get specific about our users and the outcomes that they're trying to achieve, their jobs to be done. So let's define those users, let's create those proto-personas, and let's get a sense of what they're trying to achieve. And then we're going to come up with a bunch of solutions. And we're going to fit those solutions and all the rest of those assumptions in box number 6 into a series of hypotheses. Now, very importantly, one of the things that we kind of left out in the Lean UX canvas was how do you get from box 6 to box 7, especially if you've written a bunch of hypotheses, which we expect that you will do. Because box 7 asks, what's the most important thing we need to learn first? And so the first thing we have to do is identify which hypothesis we want to test first. We have a canvas for that too. It's actually been out for a while. It's called the Hypothesis Prioritization Canvas. And if you go to that URL right there or scan that QR code, it will give you that 2x2 matrix where you can actually choose that hypothesis. It'll help you choose it, and then you can bring it back into this canvas, decide the most important thing to learn first about it, and then start to design your experiment. Again, the goal of reworking this into a lean product canvas is to make sure that the entire team participates in this process at the same time. Because when we do that, we start to build that shared understanding, right? What we're working on, why we're working on it, who we're building for, what are they trying to achieve, what's getting in their way, what does success look like for our users, what does success look like for us, and what are we going to learn, or how are we going to try to learn things quickly, and then what are we going to do with that information? And the more that we can do that together as a cross-functional team, the less time we have to debate these elements individually and convince others of this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. And so that's the purpose of this canvas. The last thing I want to show you before I sign off today is just, again, this is, if you've seen the Lean UX canvas before, you're familiar with this. If you haven't seen it and you want to go through that walkthrough, it's on another video. I'll put it in the comments in the chat in this channel. But basically, the way that this Lean product canvas is set up is that on the left side, we're describing the current state, what's happening now, the business problem and our customer's current state. On the right side, we're describing the future state, the later state. What are the behavior changes we'd like to see if we solve the problem? And what will our customers, our users get out of it, right? What's the benefit for them? The bridge between those two things are the features, the solutions, the products that we're going to build. How do we think we'll get there? We're going to build this, we're going to build that, we're going to ship this thing. And then the bottom third, that green strip at the bottom, is our validation loop. It's our learning loop. How are we going to find out if we're right? We're going to write hypotheses, which are our first test of whether or not we've actually come up with good features. We're going to identify the hypothesis we want to test first. And then we're going to decide what we want to learn about it and what is the fastest way or the least amount of work that we need to do to learn that thing, and then use that evidence to continue to evolve our thinking, eventually starting to ship software that solves our customers' problems, solves our business problems, makes everybody happy and successful. So hopefully this is helpful for you. If you have any questions, please reach out. Please put a comment in the chat. Thanks so much.